morning and welcome to another episode of Run with Steve, where today I'm walking down a mountain while answering your questions that you've submitted on Instagram. I might split this over 2 videos if it gets too long, but we're going to jump straight in. And Matt Culver asks, when are you going to run the entire length of Africa? Never. Hopefully there's some of these questions are actually useful. Do you prefer to eat real food or use gels/chews when running or racing? This is a question I can answer. So personally, if I'm running or even racing, I use a combination of foods. Currently, to get my quick carbohydrates, I've been using Tailwind and I really like it. Also my electronics. No, don't consume electronics. Always make sure to consume electronics while you're running. It's really important because you sweat a lot and you'll sweat out your electronics. Electrolytes. Previously I got those from gels and then carrying separate electrolyte tablets. Now I'm using Tailwind, which combines carbs and electrolytes in one. So I have that in a drink format. That's kind of my quick access, easy to consume energy. But also if I'm out, I'll have a granola bar on me and I'll have some sweets. And if it's a really long day, I might even have a stick of cheese on me or something like that. I do like a little bit of real food, so I mix it up. James says, it's a question about shin splints. James says, I've tried running before and get terrible runner's knee and shin splints. Is this a problem with shoes, terrain, or is it just because I'm a fatty? Well, first of all, James, that's very harsh on yourself. Don't put yourself down like that ever. So James, I've tried running before. That gives me the impression that James is new to running. And if you're new to running, you will get all kinds of aches and pains and grumbles and annoyances that experienced runners don't get. I'll give you 2 examples. Well, stitches. I can't remember the last time I've had a stitch. And shin splints. I haven't had shin splints in 15 years. Shin splints specifically, and I suppose quite a few other grumbles that people get when they start running, they're caused by underuse. Running is extremely hard on the body. When you run, you're hitting the ground and the impact forces going through your legs, going through your joints, going through your knees. I think it's 4 times the impact forces of walking. So a lot of adults, there's this statistic where, I can't remember the exact figures, but I'll put them on the screen, but I think it's like this percentage of adults stop running by age, and most of them never run again in their lives. So a lot of adults, your bodies are, they're no longer built for running because they've essentially atrophied. Because a lot of people stop running at a certain age when they're a child. They don't need to run. And your body is very, very clever. The way it's designed, if your body doesn't need to do something, it loses that ability because retaining, if you retain your bone density, you don't need it, so you kind of lose it. That's kind of basically it. So a lot of complaints from new runners are simply because what you're now doing to your body is incredibly awful for your body, having not been used to it. It's kind of like the way the gravity on the moon is different, and if you went and lived there for a long time and then come back to Earth, you would feel heavier. Running's a little bit like that. If you haven't run for a long time, you suddenly start running, your body's going to feel it and your body is going to suffer. So my simple advice would be to go slowly. Go slowly. If it's starting to hurt, slow down, stop. And if it's really starting to hurt, don't take advice from a video on the internet. Go and see a sports physio. One of the worst things, here's my rant about sports physios, not negative about the sports physios, they're great. One of the stupidest things I ever did was I went through a period of 5 years. I got multiple injuries when I'm running, maybe 3 years. And I never went to see a physio about it. I just got more and more miserable because I was always getting injured and I started thinking, I'm never going to run again, or I'm going to have to quit running. I went to a physio, finally. And the only reason I went to a physio was because I randomly bumped into one while I was out on a hike. Hi, Mark. And he said, sure, I'll give you a free session. And me being sort of a ballerina man is never going to turn down something free. So I turned up. He got me to stand on one leg. He got me to stand on the other leg. And then he pointed at my ankle and said, pretty sure you've got something wrong with your ankle. And it turned out I had like 3 snap ligaments in my ankle from a bad roll, and I just never done anything about it, and my body was compensating. So I now have sort of problems down my left side, and if I don't do specific exercises to keep the strength in that, I end up not being able to run. So don't leave persistent running injuries. Talk to a professional, but in general, if you're starting to run, expect things to hurt, but take it easy. That's why something like following a dedicated couch to 5K program is really, really good, because it builds you up really, really slowly. What a lot of people do is they go out and they do too much mileage, or they try to do too much mileage, and they run far too fast. When you start running at the start, you do tend to run too fast, or much faster than you should. And I think it's because you want to feel the speed, like you feel the need for speed. So you go out too fast, you get hurt, and then you think, oh, I'm a rubbish runner, I can't do this. Slow down, take it easy, listen to your body, talk to a professional if you need to. Have you done Seven Sisters Skyline? No, I haven't. It's a race in Donegal. Never done it. Lots of people ask me about it. I might at some point. What other activities can one do to burn off similar amounts of calories? Running is actually probably the activity you do, like at least sort of aerobic activity you do, that burns the most calories. It burns more than cycling or kayaking or paddleboarding or anything like that. It's incredibly, I think it's just because it involves so much of your body, and every single step you take, you're lifting your entire body up in the air. Whereas if you're cycling, you're just sort of pushing it along horizontally. So yeah, there's not many things you can do that actually move you somewhere that burn as many calories of running. I think some like kettlebell swings, or like a really hard like high intensity training workout, that kind of thing would burn more calories. But are you able to maintain that for as long as you can maintain a run? I'm probably the wrong person to ask this question. I have no idea. Right, managing food and running before and after. I don't like those electrolyte solution things. All right, so depends what you're doing. But if I'm going out and I'm doing a short run, so say 6-ish, up to 6 miles, I probably won't consume any electrolytes, but I'll maybe have some porridge before I go out. I mean, your body has a certain amount of salt and already in it. So you only really need to top up those electrolytes if you're out for a significant period of time. And that's going to vary depending on what you're doing and depending on you as a person. I can go out and run 6 miles on a road and I'll not even bring water with me. But if I go and do 6 miles in the mountains, I will definitely bring water with me. If I go and do 6 miles in the mountains on a hot day, I will go through quite a lot of water. So the weather makes a difference. You make a difference. I personally am a high volume sweater, which sounds delightful. If I go out on a warm day, I'm just like sodden. I went out and did the entire Mourne Wall, or not the entire Mourne, I did the 7 Sevens route in the Mournes, 7 Hess Peaks, about 18 miles, and I did it on the hottest day of the year a couple of years ago, and I drank, was it 6 litres of water, I think, when I was out. I went through half a tube of electrolyte tablets. So, he doesn't want to use electrolytes. So your needs when you're out are highly personal. If you don't like electrolytes, all you need to do is consume something salty, like bring a bag of crisps or something like that. If it's the flavour of those electrolyte tablets just on their own mixed with water, something, I keep bringing up Tailwind, but something like Tailwind might help, because Tailwind, because it combines the carbs, you get a sweetness as well. So it's not just that salty, oh, this tastes like I'm literally drinking someone's distilled sweat. It's not actually distilled sweat, wouldn't have salt in it, because this distillation would remove the salt. Oh, this is, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Those electrolyte tabs on their own, mixed with water, they're just salty. Whereas Tailwind mixes the sweet, so that might help. But other than that, you could carry some real food with you. That's what I would do. That's what I would do anyway. Right. Okay, I'm going to end this video here. and I'll pick up your questions in part 2.